So, hey guys, today we're going to be just looking at a few potential options we have that we could play against Ryzeal that meet this condition, and this condition will be simply put, Ryzeal will not be able to out our board slash boss monster, and they just don't or won't have a way. So, if we think about it, the Ryzeal extra deck actually kind of sucks in the sense that your tools just suck, I guess. You only have destruction as a form of removal for starters, and also for the most part, everything that Ryzeal can do targets. So yeah, or every rank 4 you can make with Ryzeal also targets. Like, you know, for example, I don't know, we'll go with, or not this, Light Dragon at Ignister. Detach 1, destroy face-up monsters your opponent controls. Wait, this doesn't target. This is a protection effect though, right? Yeah, whatever. That's not the card I was thinking of. It was the Twin Twister looking dragon. Whatever that was. That targets as well. So, I'm thinking if we just make a really big towers, just, you know, big ol' arrival, how can you out this with Ryzeal? Simply put, you can't, right? And that's one option. Or, you know, we could do something like, you know, Plasma Hole also targets, doesn't it? Yup. So this isn't going to be useful unless we're going first, but you know, Magispector. You can't really target anything here. And also, most of my interactions are going to actually be just like Spell Trap. And we also have essentially a Solemn with the Magispector Tempest, which is just pretty powerful against this deck in general. And you know, most of our removal and stuff and our interactions will be just aggro. So yeah, it's pretty cooked, and I don't think you will be able to really do much. You can't even go into Excaton or activate Excaton. Well, if you were able to make it because of Tempest. So if we're going first, this should cook Ryzeal pretty hard. Going second, yeah, you just pop the scales nonstop, and it's like, damn, what was I supposed to do about that? Because all of your Magispector cards are pretty small. I guess you do have the one option of actually special summoning Pegasus early, right? And then just bouncing back the detonator. That could be an option, I guess. Would it be that good? I mean, I haven't played the matchup enough, so I could say with certainty either way. Droll is a wind spellcaster though, so synergy. Alright. So, Arrival, I think, is absolutely cooking either way because it, well, assuming we make it with 6 mats, this would be a 6k bungus that you genuinely have no way to out because you're not playing Underworld Goddess in Ryzeal. No one does that, I think. Unless you do that, but surely you don't. So, yeah, Arrival. And I thought about it for like 1 second, but then I realized, you know, Do Drive exists, so this actually can boost Detonator's attack, putting it over 3k. And this matters specifically because of Blackwing Full Armor Master. And that's about it, you know? You can just run over this with a Detonator. And I don't remember how Battle Protection works with Tower Monsters. Like, it's not affected by the Battle Protection, is it? Or is it affected based on the order, maybe? Like, if we summon Blackwing Full Armor Master after we have summoned or activated a continuous effect to kind of protect Full Armor Master, which one takes precedence, right? Or precedence. So if we have like a Chaos Angel made with a Dark Monster, if we make it after or before Full Armor Master, does that matter? Or is it just not protected by Full Armor Master? It's just like, it's not affected by Chaos Angel, or is it? So I mean, this is like a maybe. potentially. Chaos Angel itself, though, like, it doesn't stall for that long because you can just simply remove Chaos Angel with, like, Plasma Ult, right? But, yeah, that does mean we can do Vendread, which no longer has this issue. So, yeah, Vendread is a ritual deck, which not that relevant here, but we do have Revendread Executor, which has this, I guess, amazing effect of, while this ritual summon card is on the field, your opponent cannot target cards you control with card effects except this card. But if you make this with Vendread Core, now this has the effect of your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, meaning you can only target Executor, but you also cannot target Executor, meaning you cannot target any of my cards, be it back row, a monster, a field spell. Nothing on the field is targetable. So yeah, we have this, and you know, these guys are also dark monsters, and you do get to play Diviner, which is a light tuner, and also like kind of ritual support, which means Chaos Angel pretty makeable, even without like Divine, still pretty makeable as a dark monster. So yeah, if we have Chaos Angel plus Executor, then how you gonna out this? Pretty much, right? I guess there's still like potentially the idea of trying to destroy with Exciton, but yeah, can we even recycle Exciton? I don't think so. And this matters because, you know, if we make Chaos Angel with a light and dark monster, then in this case it would be Diviner, right? Plus a level 8 monster, I suppose. Just any level 8. So if we did that, then this is not destructible by Exciton, and then Revendread Executor actually gets protected by Revendread Origin. And there's no hard once return on this card, including on the protection effect, of course. This protects Revendread Slayer. And, you know, while this card is on the field, its name becomes Revendread Slayer, so it's protection, and you do go through, like, 1 or 2 of these when you do your combo, so yeah. Shouldn't be too hard to set this up, so I think fairly viable to just set this up. And then, you know, Exciton, it's pretty easy to deal with, I guess. But what wouldn't be easy to deal with, of course, is Chaos Angel plus Revendread Executor, which you cannot destroy this by battle. You cannot affect this with your monster effects. And also, while we're at it, you know, there's back row removal and monster removal tied to Executor as well, making this pretty impossible to remove unless you activate, I guess, like a triple tactics talents, which you can actually play around by banishing the things in specifically then phase. And you can also play around cross by forcing onto cross, so it'd be like end phase, activate Executor, target cross, and then it doesn't matter if you negate this, then I'll banish whatever monster happens to be relevant at the time. Well, if you have a detonator, I can ignore it. You can't pop anything of mine. You can only pop your own cards if you activate it. You're kind of just, you have to pop one of your own cards, yeah. And then next turn, I can pop a spell, a trap, whatever, and a monster. And Exciton can't activate in draw phase, right? So even if I only had one card, it's fine, right? But during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, yeah, this can't really activate at all. So I'll lose, I guess, yeah. And then, you know, what would be kind of funny? I don't think this is like that doable, but yeah. This is kind of an unoutable board in a sense. Like, it'll take some time to get to that point, but you know. Yugioh can flip 2 monsters face down, essentially permanently, and against, well, Ninja, you'd be getting cooked if this happened enough times, because you'd just lose your board, right? And it'd be all face down, and you wouldn't be able to summon monsters eventually, which, you know, it gets there. I guess it's not like in the towers kind of territory that we have here, so not like that relevant at the moment. Let's see. I guess there's also, technically, this is pretty impossible to out as well. How do you out a Dragoon? So if I negate a card and destroy it, Dragoon will go to 4,000. And this is not targetable by card effects. And it cannot be destroyed either. So in terms of removal, I don't think you have removal for Dragoon. So yeah, this should just cook. The only thing we would be worried about here is, I guess, like a triple tactics talents, which, I mean, if you don't have it, you're just absolutely just going to get cooked. So, you know, simplify things even more. You know, just any deck that can go ahead and just drop a quick Verte and just run a few Garnets. Boom. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Really good luck outing this, I guess, right? I guess that there is one way to out the Dragoon, actually, but I don't think it's necessarily that great, because if I have a Verte, I can normal summon anything to make an SP, I guess. Or if I have any body on the field that could throw an SP as well. I don't think you could get that far if you actually made a Baguska either. So the idea is pretty simple, you know, we just Baguska, set the Dragoon to defense, and then we just run this over by battle. That is probably the only way you'd be able to consistently out this, but you know. The Verte here. Okay, could you run this over? I guess you'd run this over before making Baguska. But if you didn't, we could use pretty much anything plus Verte to make SP Little Knight, banish Baguska. And then we change Dragoon back to attack position. And they'll be pretty cooked. And you deal with Psychic and Punisher the same way. How big is this? 3.5k. Maybe. I think this one's a little suspect as well. Psychic and Punisher. You can't really out this, right? Yeah. You could, however, prevent Psychic and Punisher from, like, literally just game-ending you with the field spell, because that's not an activated effect. You could continuously negate Psychic and Punisher's effect to gain attack. Potentially, there's that idea. But it also has the banish effect, of course, so... Alright. If there's no hard once per turn on this, you're telling me I can summon multiple Psychic and Punishers? Huh? True. Well, ain't that something? So, macro removal seems good. Dealing with Baguska seems like a little important. So just having a form of removal plus one of these guys seems pretty solid, I guess. I guess the main cards we have to deal with are just Baguska and Excaton, and then if we're able to do so, we want to also deal with Cross and Plasma Bull. Aside from that, I mean, that's actually not that much you have to deal with, because once you out all of these things at least one time, they're kind of just dealt with. Anything else we would need to worry about? Or anything else that'd be very difficult to out? Baguska is pretty strong, actually, just in general, and then Plasma Hole as well. Well, actually, now that I think about it, Dark Lord exists. First Dark Lord effect. Your opponent cannot target fairy monsters you control with card effects. So this is just a 4K bungus, really. It has the board wipe effect, which is fairly nice. That could be relevant if we're actually playing Dark Lords. Wait, does Dark Lords have an okay matchup here? Yeah, I guess it could. Because you also have the protection effect with, Aha, that's good. That's good. That's good, Poka. If a Dark Lord monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can discard this card instead. That would get the job done. Then your opponent would just be cooked. Yeah. That Dark Lord could do it, I suppose. If we were playing Branded Dark Lord, then we also have the option of protecting with Branded Opening. And I mean, seems to just be fine, right? Baguska, I don't really see a good way to super easily deal with Baguska, aside from going like directly into SP, I suppose, but you know. So sometimes you do what you gotta do, I suppose. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And if you have any other just, well, I guess it'd be funny Tower Z strategies to deal with, well, to kind of just bully Ryzeal, honestly. Yeah, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.